Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David Darkangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Save As Ability. We keep getting a great response, so if you can help us by liking, subscribing, sharing definitely helps. That probably helps our audience grow more than anything else. We'd appreciate it to keep great content flowing for you. So today we're talking a little bit about something that we're all probably using on some level, and that's AI, artificial intelligence, or .ai, however you want to put it. We're talking about how that impacts people with disabilities. And what we've discovered, there's been a number of papers that I've read and talked to a number of people in computing and artificial intelligence, and they've confirmed that unfortunately there seems to be a bias developing among many of the larger language models. And we're going to talk about that today on Save As Ability. So we'll get right into it. So really, AI or .ai, artificial intelligence, is software, right? It's a program. These large language models are built. And what do? They go and they look at data and they scrub all that data and then they come back. So it's like Google on steroids, right? Where now people are actually, Google's on the decline and AI is going up where people go to get their information, right? So it is important because if disability is not represented appropriately or well or fairly, well, then we need to address that. So what it indicates is that there is a bias, unfortunately, when it comes to disability. And generally what it's related to is insufficient or misrepresentative training data. Well, what is that? So, back in the day, they used to say garbage in, garbage out, right? Information in, information out. So if these large language models are using a set of data and information to train on that is not inclusive of people with disabilities, and or the data and information that it's getting is not fully representative of disabilities, well, then that's an issue, because that's then what they're going to output is not going to be reflective of the best responses, and the best information that there is out there. And unfortunately, AI models often underrepresent people with disabilities in the training data sets. And what this does is it leads to exclusion. All right. And don't believe me, but there's been a lot of reports written on this, and they're having seminars about it. The one I was looking up is the Association for Computational Logistics had a trustworthy natural language model symposium, and one of the papers that was delivered there addressed this. So, the computer programmers who are working with these models know that there's a little bit of an issue, and they're trying to be able to address that. Okay. They understand that there's systematic negative bias towards too much disability-related text. And I think part of that is because these models are trying to be appropriate, right? Like they're built in with, they want to make sure that they're not being hyperbolic, right? But maybe they're overcompensating in ways when it comes to talk about the outcomes and the realities of disability. All right. Penn State research did a very interesting study, and where they talked about learned disability bias into performance outcomes. All right. And that basically talked about what we've just said, that disability data is missing or misclassified, and the outputs end up being then biased or not really representative of the community. So there's like design decisions here. And well, wait a minute, we don't want to misrepresent people with disabilities, so we'll intentionally design that out because we don't want to do that. Well, then you're underrepresented, and that's a little bit of an issue. Further, as we've talked about here, I think the AI is looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute, disability is not this monolithic thing. Which is it? Is it what's described in the BRFIS and the SIP, Or is it closer to the American Community Survey? Like, which definition is it? And what are we talking about here? So oftentimes when these large language models, one of the things that they really kind of value is highly credible information. And oftentimes it finds the most credible information as government reports, government data. Well, when you get in two conflicting or two sets of data that don't necessarily match up from two highly credible sources, well, then I think that confuses some of these algorithms and some of the AI and things like that. So further, you look at like private industry, for example, like many of the algorithms that are put in place to screen applicants in hiring situations. We know there from sources, the EEOC has lodged complaints and found that, I'm reading right off their thing, that proctoring software penalizes disability-related trials such as non-standard eye movement or atypical body language. All right. So as that information then gets input, the output again is not exactly a representative output for the entire population of people with disabilities. And as a result, the information coming out doesn't really match what we all experience here. So another thing is that AI is tending to oversimplify what they call fairness frameworks that are put in place. So AI prioritizes fairness frameworks that prioritize race and gender while sidelining disability. And again, don't believe me, this is right out of a report. It was reported in the Harvard Gazette. Disability is frequently omitted in fairness frameworks, leaving protections incomplete. And that's a problem. So now the AI is getting woke, or maybe overly woke, and that's presenting problems for people with disabilities. Another reason why wokeness is not good, by the way. I guess what this leads to is what we've discussed here in 90-something episodes, that we're all in various states of ability, and disability is not monolithic in any way. And so when the data is getting input into these large language models, I don't know if those large language models are that quote unquote, air quotes, smart enough, are intelligent enough to be able to understand all that and then report that back out, particularly all the nuances involved with disability rights and, what we're trying to do, be inclusive of people with disabilities. So, unfortunately, investigations underway into whether AI is showing these biases or being discriminatory doesn't yield the best results. There really is a bias here, and we've got to work to address it, okay? So really, what's the message here? The message is that AI is not going away anytime soon. So we've got to be sure that the information we're inputting is representative of all individuals, all people, not just people with disabilities, by the way, but we recognize that people with disabilities are having a challenge here. So we've got to make sure that that is articulated well, that the data being input is fair and represents all different corners and aspects of our human condition and the condition of people with disabilities, right? So I don't have a solution necessarily other than we need to work on it and challenge your large language model, whether you're working with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever. Start asking it, start sending it that information. If you have information, upload information, right? I've personally started on ChatGPT a disability GPT that I'm trying to get quality information in. So again, this is a challenge because AI is not going away. We're only going to start using it more and more. We want to make sure that it's not biased and not discriminating, and that it's, appropriately considering people with disabilities fairly. That's what we want. That's what we're about here at Save Visibility. Fairness, lay it down the middle. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want more, please let us know. It's David D'Arcangelo, another episode of Save Visibility, and I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David Darkangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.